Alright guys, Kaijudo here once again with the second duel between me and Evan. Once again, water darkness control, the splash of nature on my side, standard water darkness control on the other side. So he starts off with bone blades and mana. I start off with root trap because that's pretty bad in your starting hand. And I'm pretty sure I had at least two, maybe three level 7s in my hand. And this is exactly why I don't stock up so much on level 7s because I mean I have 3 pits and 3 traps already. Then you throw in Razorkinder, Nautilus, and I can't put anything else. Oh, and Bloodmane too as well. So he gets a Skeeter Swarmer turn 2, and I'm gonna go ahead and put Return to the Soil mana and play a Skull Cutter. Hopefully you get to see how good Skull Cutter is in this duel. I'm not exactly sure when Skull Cutter gets put to use, but it's just really nice to have Skull Cutter on the field because it pretty much says to your opponent, watch out because Skull Cutter will just swing into it and kill whatever you swing with. And that's why I run that, because with that I have a lot more answers to those big finishers, so that I don't have to rely on Pit and Root Trap to get rid of them. I could also get rid of them with Razorkinder or Teleport or Skull Cutter. I just have a lot more options that way. So I played a Return to the Soil on a Skeeter, and I decided to swing with Skull Cutter because he has no blocker, and if he rams into Skull Cutter, well, I guess that's not bad, but at the same time kind of bad for me because he gets rid of a Skull Cutter without thinking about it. So he gets a Skull Cutter and two Skull Cutters. That's a proxy for Skull Cutter, by the way. He didn't have 3 battle decks on him because his friend had the third one. So you may have seen last duel there was a Terror Pit from Duel Masters as well. So whenever he plays proxies, I'll let you know what they are. So he has 2 Skull Cutters right now. That's pretty scary. So I have King Nautilus, and I'm like, okay, I have to put this in mana because I have no water mana. And I almost do the same move as him, except not 2 Skull Cutters, more like 1 Skull Cutter and 1 Skeeter. And I have 1 in hand, so I'm like, he probably has Fumez, and yeah, and of course he does. And I had Zagon. So yeah, my hand was pretty beefy. I mean, Root Trap, Nautilus. I don't know if Zagon was in there too, but it was somewhere. So he swings with Skull Cutter, and I'll take it because I don't want to lose my Skeeter. And I don't know if he passes. I think he passes because he wants to keep the other Skull Cutter. So I draw, and I don't know what I drew, but I'm obviously thinking because right now I only have 2 cards in hand because he swung at a shield and I drew one. So now I'm like, you better not have another Fumez because that's probably gonna do some work to me. So I get my Fumez off, and he dumps his Frogzuka. I forget what I had in my hand, but I'm thinking it was another Zagon. I kind of remember it being another Zagon. So of course he has the other Fumez, and I'm like, oh, it's Pit. Okay, so I lose Pit. So as you can see, I drew a lot of my level 7 cards, and this is pretty much what screwed me over. Well, we'll see where this goes. I actually get a blast here, thinking about it. I think it was a Pit. Oh, it was a trap. Okay, so I actually decided to trap the Fumez because I guess it's not that bad. I could have done it on Skull Cutter actually, but I didn't want to lose another shield, so I decided to just dump the one that could attack into mana. So I played Teleport, and of course I can't really target the Fumez because he'll just use it again. So I decided to put Skull Cutter in his hand and draw because I really need some options. But at least there's one less Skull Cutter on the field. So I decided to swing with Fumez at the Skull Cutter just to get rid of it. So now he just has a Fumez and a Skull Cutter in hand. But now he's going to have another Skull Cutter on the field, which kind of sucks. So I'm pretty much struggling right now. He gets another Fumez, and there's my Zagon. So that's pretty much the true power of Fumez if you have the best, conditions. Like in my case, I didn't draw anything this turn. Not this turn, this game. I didn't draw anything because I didn't get any of my draw spells. So I pretty much just lost card after card after card. So I got Ice Blade. I'm like, 2 Fumez, dang it. So I have to get rid of the Spy. Not the Spy, a Skull Cutter, my bad. So I top deck into a refi. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm fine for now. get rid of the Fumez because I didn't want to lose another shield. Actually, I wouldn't have lost another shield, but I just did it anyway, just so I have slight field presence. But of course, that will change soon because he has so much mana and a couple cards in his hand. So he smokes. I don't know what he does. Oh, the refi. That's the better choice. And he gets his Skull Cutter back on the field, and he swings at my last shield with Fumez. And once again, it's a blast. And Return to the Soil, the Skull Cutter for sure, because Skull Cutter is annoying. And now I top deck and hope for something, and I get another blocker, so I'm like, okay, I should be fine. So let's see what he top decks. I'm thinking it's a removal spell. Yeah, it's a Bone Blade, so I lose my refi again. So he doesn't swing, of course, because they would just trade. And I top deck a Seneschal, and that's probably not going to help because he'll just top deck some sort of removal to get rid of the blocker and then go for game. Oh no, but he gets Skull Cutter, and I am forced to block. So now I'm hoping for something to get rid of Skull Cutter, or something to block. And I'm pretty sure I didn't get anything, so yeah, I just got another Seneschal. And drew a card that I wouldn't even be able to play. And he gets Spy Mission, just for more cards. And then he probably just gets rid of my whole field and then goes for game or something. So this is pretty much one example of my deck failing. You know, I think this kind of happens with every deck though, but it's just kind of nice to see that my deck might need improvement. I think that was just kind of a fluke on my part, so I decided to pile shuffle after that. Either way though, those were very good games. Evan played really well, especially in the second game. The first game as well, he played pretty good, except until the very close to the end, he did one attack that was kind of questionable. But either way, we both, made our mistakes, and this was overall a very good match. Well, there is one more game, so I'm gonna go into this game next time. Alright guys, see you later for game 3.